In this video, let's talk about, do you want to work for yourself? What are some of the pros and cons about being self-employed, being a freelancer, or starting your own business? All right, so if you're new here, I'm Dan Blewett. I'm an online entrepreneur. I'm the author of 4 books. I'm a YouTuber here, and I'm also a former pro baseball player. That's a little bit about my background. And so one of the unique things about me is that I've pretty much always worked for myself. I kind of don't know how I fell into this, but it just sort of worked out that way. But after college, I played D1 baseball. I went off, started my pro baseball career, and needed to work in the off season. And what I did was I already got my personal trainer certificate in college because I was really interested in strength training. And I found a big baseball academy that had space in the back. And I said, hey, can I rent this space from you and train kids? And, I'll be able to offer a sort of a complimentary service to your baseball academy business. And they said, sure, we don't have a use for that space. We'd love for you to rent it out. It'll, obviously give them some cash flow. So I started out with almost, no money, and I had like a little bit of savings, like a couple $1,000s, and I bought a little bit of equipment and just did the best that I could, training the couple kids that I had, and I took all that money and I reinvested it, started buying more equipment, bought a lot of used equipment from like surplus auctions from high schools and colleges, and really scraped by and put all of it back in, and it just started to grow, and I never really expected that, but it ended up being a full-fledged business until we had to find our own much, much bigger space. We went from 1,000 square feet to 2,000 square feet to our own facility with 7,300 square feet. And it was a really exciting thing, and there were a lot of new challenges and growing pains along the way. And you learn a lot when you work for yourself. And one of the big things that you learn is it's not all glory. It's not all pros. There's a lot of cons to that. And there's a lot of things you have to be okay with if you want to work for yourself. So let's talk about the pros first, and then definitely stick around for the second half of this video when we talk about the cons. Because again, everyone thinks, wow, it's amazing, that person runs their own business. There's a lot of downsides too, and you have to have the demeanor for it. So let's go and do first the pros. So number one, as you might expect, I pretty much answer to no one, which I love. I get to make my own schedule. No one can fire me. Yes, I do actually have a couple clients that I work with a little bit of consulting on the side right now. That wasn't true about a year ago when I was doing only my own stuff. But sometimes when opportunities come, I take them with clients that I really like. Now, I do answer to my clients, right? If they're paying me to do a job, they're sort of my boss for that period of time. So that's something to understand about being a freelancer, being self-employed. But when you own your own business, and like my sports performance facility, I still kind of answer to my clients, right? I have to do a good job. If I screw up or, don't do a good job, I have to answer to them, and I can lose my clients, and you're always kind of owed to someone is kind of what I'm saying. But it's a really big pro that I get to make my own schedule. I get to do everything the way I want to do it. And that's really exciting. And that's one of the things that people really want. They don't want to be stuck in this stuffy, bureaucratic environment where they have to be here at these certain hours, they have to do things this way, or you go through this illogical process, or deal with coworkers they don't like, or a boss they don't think is very good. I don't have any of that, and I love that. I am the top of my food chain, and that's really cool. That's one of the big pros of owning your own business. And number two, along with that, is the flexibility to set your schedule. If I want to just sort of lay in bed till 11 a.m. because I really need it one day, I can do it. If I want to go visit my sister and my nieces and nephews on a Tuesday afternoon, I can do it. If I want to take a 2-week vacation, I can do it anytime I want. We'll talk about that later because there's a real opportunity cost when you work for yourself. Vacations are very much not free. They're actually extremely expensive. But I can do all those things with my time. Again, that's one of the big perks of owning your own business. Number three, the third really big pro of owning your own business is that your income can scale infinitely. And one of the things you want to think about doing in life is setting yourself up for what's called a positive convexity effect. And this is a hockey stick effect, where if you do things, they have a chance to virally grow and spread. And this is one of the big things with performing arts, essentially. If you're a musician and you keep putting out albums out there, you have a chance for one of your albums to really catch fire and go gold, go platinum, and sell 5 million records. You can make a ton of money, more than any salaried employee ever could. Same thing with writing books. If you keep writing books, writing novels, you have a chance for one of those books to catch fire and you become a multimillionaire selling millions and millions of books. It's a very tiny amount of people that it happens to, right? The amount of Grammy-winning artists, the amount of YouTubers that make in the millions of dollars, they're very, very slim. They make up like 1% of all people, if not less than that, and they make 99% of the income. But when you have your own business, it can scale infinitely. And the big thing is it can scale much beyond your hours. There's a big difference between being self-employed and being a freelancer and having your own business. When you're a freelancer, you're trading hours for work. So you only have, 40 hours a week, or if you want to work 50 hours a week, great. But you have to keep raising your hourly rate. And when you run out of hours, you can't sell any more of your own time, right? When you have your own business, that's when other people are working for you and you're taking the profit from all that. And that's when your income can really scale. Understand that there's a really great scaling effect from business. And obviously you can sell your business one day. If the thing keeps booming and going, maybe someone wants to buy it, you get a big payout, and all those years of really hard labor are worth it. So that's one of the big exciting things about owning your own business. And for my business personally, as my YouTube channel grows, I sell more books. As I sell more books, I sell more online courses. As I reach more and more people all over the web, I get more inquiries for speaking and for all sorts of other types of engagements. So everything has this growth effect that is really just unlimited. If my channel kept getting gigantic, my income keeps growing. I'll keep selling more books, right? The more people that get to know about you on an online business, the more your income can scale. So those are really exciting things, and that's one of the big reasons that you might want to start your own business. Number 4, one of the big pros of starting your own business is that you own it, and other people can't necessarily cancel it. No one's going to fire you. We've talked about you still are owed to your clients, right? But you own it. It's your thing. And if it makes you money, it's yours, right? This is one of my YouTube channels. I have a bunch of them, but I own it. No one's going to fire me for my own YouTube channel tomorrow, right? There's a lot of things I could do to screw up where people don't want to watch my videos anymore. Maybe they want to boycott me. But at the same time, it's mine. I own it, So it gives you that flexibility. And it's a nice thing to know that as compared to being an employee, I really own my own destiny. And that's another part of that freedom that everyone wants in owning their own business. All right, so let's talk about some of the cons, some of the downsides of owning your own business, because there are many. Now let's talk through them. So number 1 is financial insecurity. And this is probably the biggest thing that my friends and family and other people that when I talk to them about what I do, this is one of the biggest things that makes people really uncomfortable. My income is up and down. It's seasonal, right? Especially having a sports related business, there's baseball season and then there's not baseball season. And my income definitely changes based on that. And so that requires a lot of budgetary work. You have to know that you can't just spend everything you make in these 6 months when you make a lot of money, because then in the next 6 months, if you keep that same lifestyle up, when you make less money, you go into the negative, right? Or you just know that you have to save money and you have to really scrap through the down times. Every business has some seasonality to it. So that's one of the big things where a lot of people, they want their paycheck every 2 weeks that has, $2,000 in it. And they know they can pay their bills and they have that money coming in steadily. Now, again, you could go to zero if you get fired, right? But a lot of people are extremely uncomfortable about getting $2,000 one week, then $4,000 the next week, then maybe only $500 the week after that, then maybe only $300 after that, or $6,000 a month on average from March, April, and May, and then in June, July, August, you make $1,000 a month. Businesses can be highly seasonal. It's subject to the economy, to lots of ups and downs, sometimes the stock market, lots of things. So you have to be really comfortable with risk and the financial insecurity. And especially, I'll tell you, there have been months where I know it's going to come back up based on the seasonality that I've experienced before, where it's I know this is my down period, but it just gets really down. It feels like it's really lasting longer than normal. And you're I don't know if this is ever going to get back to normal. I don't know if I'm never going to have a good month again. And you really have to trust yourself. And it can be scary as your bank account sort of dwindles because you're still paying your bills and all this stuff. So it's something that you really have to have a good amount of risk tolerance for if you want to own your own business. Number 2, this is the double edge of the sword of having your time pretty much infinitely to yourself. I have complete independence, right? I can make my schedule however I want, do whatever I want. I could work from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. and take the whole day off if I wanted to. I could do whatever I want. However, it becomes very difficult to prioritize. It becomes very difficult to stay organized, to stay motivated when I'm doing my work myself. And I have to be you know what? You've got to get this stuff done between 9 and 12. And you've got to get this stuff done between 1 and 4. It's hard to force yourself essentially to whip your own horse. So it's nice when you have someone say, hey, we need you to be here, this times, and you're going to get paid for it. I don't get paid for most of my work because most of my income is residual from book sales, from online course sales that are automated, from YouTube ad revenue that's automated. Most of the time I'm working and it doesn't make me money as I'm doing it. I'm not on the clock. I'm not working for someone or hourly. And that's a really weird feeling. And a lot of people are going to have to do that. And especially as a business owner, you have to put in tons of behind the scenes hours to get your business going, to acquire new clients, to create new products to sell, to do whatever. There's so much unpaid work that you have to organize and get yourself motivated to do. And it can just be really challenging at times where you feel like you're multitasking a million things at once and nothing important actually gets done. It's a really big challenge that a lot of people aren't up for, or they really just don't like it, or they're not good at it. And you have to really learn to have discipline and to focus and like to find out, sort of hack your way through some of this stuff to be productive when no one's forcing you to be. Third big con of working for yourself or owning your own business is that work never turns off. Now, you can definitely get ahead and get to points where you have to do less because you've done a lot and built the foundation of sort of things. I'm at that point now where I definitely don't have to do a lot of the grunt work that I did 3, 4, 5 years ago. But there's still always things that I have to stay ahead of because I know my business is always going to keep evolving. I have to keep ahead of stuff. I know that things that have a steady income for me now will stop producing income at some point, or will produce less at some point, right? YouTube, as I rely on that as a source of income, YouTube's not going to be around forever, or terms might change. I'm subject to a lot of YouTube's whims, right? You have a certain amount of clients, for example. Well, you might have less clients in a month because some might move away or whatever happens. So you always have to still be churning out towards the future. And so this is the reason that working for yourself can feel like a really big hamster wheel. And especially because as an entrepreneur, you're going to have to wear all the different hats, right? I don't do my taxes. I send them to an accountant, but I still have to like keep my finances all in order. I have to really keep really good tabs on my budget, my expenses, my revenue, all this stuff. I don't have an accountant work for me. I just send my taxes off at the end of the year. That's a good example. You have to be your accountant. You have to be your graphic designer. You have to be your marketer. You have to be so many different things running a business, no matter what you do, especially at first, before you can just hire people. So understand that it's really a situation where if you really like your 9 to 5 and then you're done and you're clocked out and you're going home and you get to spend time with your family, your friends, whoever, that's not the life of an entrepreneur. My next big con of starting your own business is that you don't get paid time off. And not only do you not get paid time off, if you're sick or if you want to go on vacation, not only do you not have a paid vacation where you get your salary, which is like mind blowing to me that you go on vacation and they're still paying you, which is amazing. And you deserve that as an employee. And if I'm a freelancer and I do need to work and I get paid for the hours I work, but I work for myself, if I don't work, I don't get paid. It's just as simple as that. And so not only do you have to pay for your vacation, pay for the flight, pay for the hotel, pay for the stuff that you do on vacation, you're also paying the opportunity cost of not working. So you have to say, okay, I always make $2,000 a week, working for myself. Well, now I'm going to go on vacation for 2 weeks. And so I'm not going to get to work for 2 weeks. So that means I'm going to be negative $4,000 in lost income. That's my opportunity cost going on vacation. Plus, this 2-week vacation is going to cost me $3,000. So really, a $3,000 vacation costs me $7,000. Whereas if you're an employee with paid time off, you're getting paid during those 2 weeks. And all you have to do is pay for your vacation. And you can pay for it out of the salary that you're getting paid, right? So there's a very real trade-off there, and you have to understand that. Now, that's why you want to, as a business owner, have a business that pays you residual income. So you can step away and your employees run it for you so you still make money. But that's also a lot harder because I've got to make sure I've got clients to continue to pay for my employees' salaries. You have a lot more costs. You have a lot more problems that arise if you get a downturn in the amount of clients and in revenue that you produce. So there's always pros and cons there as well, which we won't get into, but understand there's a big opportunity cost for taking time off, and that includes getting sick, getting injured, having family members that might get sick or injured that you have to take care of, or anything. You lose that revenue, that income, when you don't work. And my last big con from starting your own business and working for yourself is that you can get stuck doing that without a clear way to get back in. And this did happen to me, and I don't regret this because I've always just been, I guess, an entrepreneurial person. But when I sold my brick and mortar sports performance facility, I didn't know what to do. I was like, I'm not going to go get a 9-to-5 job. What would I even do? I was a pro baseball player. I owned a baseball and sports performance facility. I've only ever worked for myself. I have lots of skills. I have like a ton of skills. I can build websites. I can do graphic design. I was learning to podcast and do videos towards the end of my career owning that academy. but it wasn't clear that I could do like one job. It's not like I could be a marketing professional. It's not like I could be an accountant, even though I did help do our books for my business. I didn't have any like clear one skill. I was really just a big jack of all trades and just not used to the real world. So I would probably have to get like some entry level position that I probably wouldn't like. And I was like, I don't know what to do about this. And it's very real that if you take yourself out of the job market, sort of out of that corporate ladder climb, that it's not clear how you get back in, right? Now, again, I'm a smart person and I have lots of skills and I would be a good employee. I'm very coachable. I got that from my baseball career. And I have a lot of skills, right? I could definitely be of value to any other firm, but it's still not clear how I would fit in or what if I'd want to do that. And so when you take yourself out of that race, it can be hard to get back in, and that's something to consider. So if you're on this sort of path where you're progressing within an organization or a company, do you want to jump out and go into the freelance world and lose your place in line? And maybe it's not as easy to get back in. I think it's definitely easier when you're doing something specific. So say you're a graphic designer. I know I keep using that example, but it's a good one. Say you're a graphic designer for a company and you decide, I want to do graphic design for myself. And you jump out and you have your own graphic design business for 5 years, but then it starts to get a little hard and you don't want to have, the work hamster wheel all the time working for yourself. You'd actually rather go back and get your paycheck and work less hours and have more work-life balance. That's going to be easier because you were a graphic designer then, and then you worked for yourself as a graphic designer after, right? You can kind of jump back into place there. But when there's other businesses and other like things, it's not always as clear. So it just depends on what you do, whether you get stuck if you go back out and try to come back in later. It can just depend, but it's something to consider as a con when you're starting your own business. All right, so hopefully this video was helpful. Again, I have a lot of experience doing this. I'm glad to share a little bit about it because it's not all pros. There's a lot you got to grind through. There's a lot you got to learn for yourself and depend on yourself if you want to work for yourself and make your own money. So if you have any comments or questions, leave them in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you here in the next video.